And we have taken off on a Monday, getting that work week started off for you correctly. Rocking and rolling right now on the hottest form in this, the hottest show on the streets, number one form for Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information with yours truly, the hype man for all things Bama football, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming to you from the magic city of Birmingham. And we are streaming to you the show on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, go ahead right now. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like on the show right now, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best news, notes, analysis, and conversation on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. We also got you covered on Facebook and Twitter as well. All forms of social media have you well taken care of and discussing your favorite football program, that being the Tide. We got a lot to get to on this evening as so much is going on right now in the world of sports. The NBA playoffs about to start. You got the former Alabama players did their thing at the rookie mini camps for the NFL. And how about Bama softball continuing the drumbeat for this championship school they got the job done over the weekend, winning the SEC title. So much going on right now in the realm of athletics, especially here at the University of Alabama. But we want you guys being a part of the show. And you can do this by calling 205-448-1358. That is the number to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Guys, shout out my man John Ivory in the production studio one time doing his thing behind the scenes this evening. We're going to have two outstanding guests joining us. First and foremost, we're going to have Brad Lester, an athletic trainer out of Atlanta, coming on to talk about Jace McClellan. He had his hand in training Najee Harris last season, and we saw how major that was. So now he's got his hands on another Bama running back, that being one Jace McClellan. Going to be fun to get into the conversation with Lester about the specific things he's working with the sophomore on. And then right behind that, we're going to have Shaheem Carter, former Alabama defensive back and graduate assistant on the show. He has been signed by the Houston Texans after having a successful rookie minicamp tryout. Going to be fun to talk to Carter about that. But we start the show off this evening. We get everything jump-started with this right here. Coach Saban is winning in everything right now, and he's winning in national championships. He is winning in recruiting. He is winning in positioning players in the NFL draft. He is winning in getting the right coaches to come to Alabama and coach under him on his staff. And he is winning in the NCAA transfer portal. People thought that with the transfer portal, it would make an even playing field. It would create an even ground. Other teams would win. It would not just be this richer. It would not just be the rich get richer type of ordeal. It would be something that everybody could benefit from. And Coach Saban tried to tell people a while back that if you make it about free agents in college football, if you make it about the transfer portal, the teams, the programs that have the prestige, the big name, the marquee power, they are going to dominate more times than not. And people didn't quite believe Coach Saban, but it has come to pass again. When you look at Alabama getting a huge wide receiver from the portal in one Jamison Williams coming out of Ohio State to help that group. And then it brought in the most coveted linebacker from the portal in Henry To'oTo'o from Tennessee to shore off that defense. And over the weekend, Saban does it again, dipping into that portal to pull out arguably one of the most talented punters from the portal in college football, fulfilling a need that Alabama has had for the last couple of seasons. And when you talk about Jack Martin here for a minute, Jack Martin out of Troy University, coming from the Sun Belt Conference, transferring in here to the Crimson Tide. This is somebody of whom this is an SEC caliber punter. If this was just some no-name punter that really didn't do anything, that really didn't have any numbers, really didn't have much production, this would not be a conversation. But because of the fact that Alabama has struggled in this aspect since J.K. Scott left to move on to be drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the 2018 venue. And this is a guy and Mark that has a very electrifying leg. He's consistent. He's productive. He's big time. This creates a marquee conversation. Martin coming into his third year in college football, junior season, a native of Dothan, Alabama, at 6'2", 222 pounds. This is an all-conference type of player, all Sun Belt. I think he was the Sun Belt Special Teams Player of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. We'll fact-check that, but this is an individual that, according to the reporters that covered him in that conference at Troy, they talked about it. This guy, SEC caliber talent right here. Martin, this past season, he played 11 games. He had 25 punts, total over 1,100 yards, 1,153 yards to be exact. He averaged 46.1 yards per punt, and that's big, and that's J.K. Scott type of average right there. But as we dive into the numbers that are really marquee. Check this out. Of his 25 punts, 13 of those were not returned. 52% of his attempts were not returned. He forced a lot of fair catches. He was able to squeeze. He was able to neutralize. He was able to hinder, limit, negate some of the more electrifying returners in college football from bringing punts for quality yardage, for bringing punts back for touchdowns. Most importantly, he limited electrifying return specialists from creating strong field position. When you're able to flip the field like that, you hinder, you hold the best returners from getting strong field position, from setting up their offenses where they can attack with the short field. You are doing your job in that aspect. And also, Martin had 13 of his kicks drop inside the opponent's 20-yard line. That's another thing that Scott at Alabama excelled in. He also had 8 punts that traveled in excess of 50 yards. So along with that, Martin also doubled as a kickoff specialist. And in that regard, as a freshman, he handled all but 7 kickoffs, averaged 53.5 yards per kick, had 23 touchbacks, and he had Troy ranked 17th in the nation in allowing opponents to just average 17.8 yards per kickoff return. That means with Martin, the Trojans, the opponents did not get to the 20-yard line on their kickoffs facing the Trojans. So Jack Martin, big deal here. Now, he comes into a roster for Alabama that has the likes of Sam Johnson, Charlie Scott, and Ty Perine at the very same position as he is. Now, I understand. At the end of the day, Coach Saban likes consistency. Charlie Scott gave Alabama consistency this past season, averaged 40 to 45 yards per punt, no more, no less, was consistent hitting that ball between 40 and 45 yards. Now, while that's good and while that's keen, while you want a guy to be consistent, you also want a guy to be elite. You also want a guy that can go kind of above and beyond in what he does. And while Ty Perine can go above and beyond, as we saw his freshman year as a walk-on, he was hitting it, 50, 60 yards downfield. Another thing that Saban likes to talk about is if you're going to hit it 50, 60 yards downfield, do it every single time. So that's the one small hang up there with Ty Perine. He's going to give you the 50, 60 yard punts, but he'll also have a punt where it goes 25 yards off the side of his foot, and it drives Coach Saban mad. But it is what it is. But the point that I'm trying to get into here is, along with Coach Saban, you as fans, you want a guy that can not only be consistent, but that is confident in what he's doing, that's elite in what he's doing, and that can go above and beyond in what he's doing and really hit that ball deep downfield, control that field position, and not allow will allow your defense to, force that opposing offense to drive for the football field. And Alabama has not had that type of specialist since J.K. Scott. And I understand, a lot of people would say, well, Steven, this is just a punter. It's no big deal. This is just a punter we're talking about. Just, a specialist. This is not like it's a wide receiver or a quarterback or a linebacker or a defensive back Bama has pulled out of the portal. This is just a punter. Well, go ask that 2014 Alabama team how special J.K. Scott was. Ask them, was he just a punter? 2014, J.K. Scott was the MVP, of that team, helping that team get to SEC championship and an appearance in the first ever inaugural college football playoff. Go ask that 2015 Alabama team that won an SEC championship and a national championship how important J.K. Scott was. They'll tell you that. Go ask the 2017 national championship team about the importance of one J.K. Scott. They'll tell you that as well. So a punter is a big deal. And one thing about Coach Saban, he wants to have A1 guys in every position. A1 quarterback, and I ain't talking steak sauce here, baby, but A1 quarterback, A1 running back, A1s at wide receiver, A1s at tight end, A1s on the offensive line, A1s on defense. I mean, Alabama even had an A1 kicker last season, and Will Reichert was perfect on field goals, perfect on extra point attempts. The only area where Bama was not A1 was the punting aspect. So to get in a Jack Martin into this program, going to be fun to see how he competes with the other guys in the room. But this is an SEC caliber leg, SEC caliber punter, and once again, Nick Saban hits that transfer portal, pulls out somebody of need, and continues to show the masses, keep on thinking it, keep on thinking about them free agents in college football, keep on thinking that everybody going to benefit. As long as Coach Saban is at Alabama, he's going to be able to get what he wants and make it do what it does. But we'll take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we get to your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, a conversation with you, the Tide fans, after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We are back into the action here, folks, from the break on a Monday, getting that work week started off correctly. Hottest show on the streets, number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Proud to have each and every last one of you tuning into the show on today. And before we go to the call lines, the phone lines to take your calls, got a couple of super chats to get to. So how about Jimmy Clay? Boom, baby, bam, baby. Jimmy, the baddest donator in the game. Clay, that $25 donation, helping us out here, starting us out here on the show. Then behind him, we got Richard G. My man Richard G, that $10 donation, helping us out here. And then we got Cody Tanner McGee. Cody Tanner McGee in the building. He's got that $10 donation as well. So appreciate Jimmy Clay, Richard G, and Cody Tanner McGee helping us out here on the show. As always, Tide Nation, that daily Super Chat Go, $75 daily Super Chat Go. Appreciate everybody for the love, the support, the passion that you show us here at TDA. But we go to the phone lines right now to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. That's the number right there, 205-448-1358. We grab a call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Stephen A., what's up, my man?
What's happening with you, Spencer?
Dude, awesome. Actually, I'm kind of down in the dumps a little bit right now, and I'm sorry I got to rant a little bit here. I'm down here. My job brought me to Clemson, South Carolina. I'm kind of underneath this water tower with that name on top of it. And, I mean, Emily Pound Cake couldn't even bring no sweetness to this sour that's over here. My four-finger necklace is hanging down. And my Alabama tennis shoes won't even go out the room because they don't know what's going to step in. So I need to know from you, Stephen M., give me something good with Alabama football.
Okay, here's something good here, Spencer. The summer enrollees, the rest of the freshman class will be in Tuscaloosa either late this month or early in the month of June. And among those summer enrollees, we're looking at Kyrie Jackson, Kamar Wheaton, Kendrick Blackshear, Kadarius Callaway, Devontae Smith, just the rest of the 2021 class, and on paper, the best class Saban has ever brought in. The rest of those freshman kids will be here soon, Spencer.
All right, so who do you think out of that group you just named that you are most looking forward to see?
Okay, so Spencer, it is going to be hard for a lot of these guys to take the field just due to the depth that Alabama has at so many positions. But if I had to name a couple, I pull JoJo Earle out first because with Jalyn Waddle gone, who is that electrifying kickoff and punt returner? I think JoJo Earle can give you that. So I pull JoJo Earle's name out. Another name I pull out, I will pull out Kamar Wheaton to a certain degree, and that's because even though Bama would have 7 backs on the roster, we know Nick Saban does not mind putting a freshman above an upperclassman. He's done this quite the amount of times, and Kamar Wheaton is coming in here not looking to redshirt. He's coming in and looking to be among the top 3 backs in the rotation, so I pull out Kamar Wheaton. I will also pull out Kyrie Jackson, and the reason why, Jalyn Armour-Davis right now, he is locked into being that starting corner opposite Josh Jobe. If Armour-Davis somehow falls apart, I don't see that happening, but if he somehow falls apart, then you have the battle there between Kool-Aid McKinstry and Kyrie Jackson. Which one of those would step up if Armour-Davis were to fall apart here? So those 3, Jackson, Kamar Wheaton, and JoJo Earle. But appreciate Spencer Revley there for that call, starting us off here for the show. Good luck to my man. He's over there in Clemson, so good luck to my guy over there as he's trying to get through that. But as you're continuing to get your thoughts in here to call in, 205-448-1358. Best number to call in here. I have a thought for you, the Bama fans. And we have reached the part in the offseason where we can have these psychological conversations. We can have these different discussions that weigh on a number of different topics. So I crafted this poll over the weekend, and the poll was, for you as Tide fans, do you become or are you overly concerned with the player when he makes his transfer decision to leave the Crimson Tide? Do you become overly concerned about where that player goes when he chooses to exit stage left in leaving the Crimson Tide? And the mass majority of you, 70 to 80% of you went, I'm not concerned at all. There was a small percentage of you that voted yes, and there were some that voted it depends on what the transfer school is. And the reason why I brought this poll to you is Alabama has had 3 defensive backs transfer out of the program since the end of the 2020 season. Those 3 guys, Ronald Williams Jr., Eddie Smith, and now Brandon Turnage. And so Smith and Williams, Smith went to Illinois, and when he declared his transfer, we all went, best of luck to you, Eddie Smith, go ball out, go have fun, go do your thing at Illinois. Illinois is not competing against Alabama, so go out there, man, you dominate, you take over the Big Ten. So we wish Eddie Smith the best there. And the same thing for Ronald Williams. When Williams made his decision to go to Michigan State, we were like, man, best of luck to you, Ronald. Hey, it didn't work out for you here. Go ball out at Michigan State. Go ball out in the Big Ten. Go do your thing. But, over the weekend, last week, Brandon Turnage decided on Instagram that he was going to commit to the University of Georgia, going to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs. And while the mass majority of you still with that same mindset, doesn't bother us, go to Georgia, go hook up with Kirby Smart, go ball out, go play. go have success, there were a few people that went, hold the heck up. Where you going? Kirby? Georgia? Turnage? What? Hold on. Not good. Red flag. He gonna take all the tricks of a trade. He gonna take everything Saban taught him. He gonna take all the secrets from the program, and he gonna go share those with Kirby Smart at Georgia. This ain't good. This is not good. Had a couple people, Alabama fans that go, this is not good. He's got all the sauce. He's got all the secrets. He's got all the little fine things that make Alabama. And he gonna go take this to share all of his goodness, to share all of his good gems with Kirby Smart. This ain't good. Red flag. I'll say this. If one defensive back holds all the keys to Alabama, the program is a lost cause. If one defensive back, preferably a defensive back that did not even see meaningful playing time. Now, I'm not saying Brandon Turner is not good. This is not what I'm saying. Very talented young man. Absolutely. Wish him the best. But if one defensive back holds all the cards to what makes Alabama football, then this program is truly a lost cause. Now, I can understand if somebody of major experience pulled this card. I can understand if Malachi Moore sat there and said, Bama, I love y'all, but I want out. I want to leave. Then by all means, Bama Nation, hit the panic button. Here it is right here. Hit that button. Bang. If Malachi Moore did that. If Will Anderson was to say, you know what, Nick Saban, I love you, I value you, but I want to transfer and go elsewhere, then here's the panic button. Would not blame you if you hit it. Tap that sucker now. If Chris Allen was to say, Nick, I'm out of here, tap the panic button. But before I continue with this whole spiel here, we're going to go to the phone lines right now. We'll grab a call. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Well, Stephen, I said I wouldn't be back to July, but I'm going to have to jump in here. I saw that poll you put on TDA there about this transfer portal stuff, and I hope everybody's doing good here in the chat and in the cities, towns, and countries and states, and I hope Spencer's listening. Spencer, I don't know, you may have to put a mask on and some sunglasses and a hat and wear your boots up to your knees.
He's going to have to do something, man. Wagan, my man, going to have to do something.
Yeah, he might have to wear them knee-high boots he used to wear when we coon hunted up at night time there, like Uncle Versi Ledbetter up. I don't shoot a month or somebody got a house in relief. But anyway, these people that come to Alabama, the way I look at it, you have to be the best of the best. Even the lower players now at Alabama, as we call 3 stars, 2 stars, 4 stars, whatever you want to call them, they're as good as the guy that's out there playing. And that's what scares me. Do 2 or 3 of these guys leave because there's so many in the running back room or wide receiver room or defensive back room or D-line or offensive line and go to another school in the Southeastern Conference and go with these other coaches. It's got the experience because most all of them has been under Nick and beat the heck out of us. Is that going? That's what worries me, Stephen. Is I'm sort of like you. One defensive back's not going to make the cookie crumble, but 2 or 3 could take a little piece off the side of it. See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying. And just for me, it kind of goes back to Waylon. With every recruiting class, these young men, the mindset grows hungrier and hungrier. I mean, the mindset that the 2015 class had is much different than what these 2021 guys have. These 2021 guys are saying, if you're not ready now, we are pushing you out the way because we're taking our shot right now. So it's just intriguing how with each signing class, that mindset, that hunger grows times 10. We appreciate Waylon there for that phone call, helping us out here on the show. We got Jimmy the Bad Man Clay back in here again with that $30 Super Chat donation. The daily Super Chat goal of $75 has been met. Appreciate all of you guys for what you do. But to end this thing right here, I wish Brandon Turner's the best. Hopefully he has all the success in the world at Georgia as Alabama continues to push forward where Nick Saban is concerned. But before we're going to go to a break here right now. We're going to take a break right now. Upon our return, we get to our two dynamic guests in Brad Lester and Shaheem Carter. Don't touch that dial. We'll hear from both of those after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we are back into the action right now on a Monday, getting that work week started off for you correctly on In My Own Words, how to show them the streets here, talking Crimson Tide football. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But right now, we go over to the In My Own Words hotline where we pick up a good friend of mine and a young man that is back in the NFL, none other than the big man, Shaheem Carter, former Alabama defensive back, played from 2016 to 2019, national champion 2016 or 2017, was a graduate assistant on Coach Saban's staff until the NFL came back calling. Shaheem, man, happy to have you here, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm happy to be here, man. I've been doing well, man. Can't complain. You know what I'm saying? Waking up every morning. Thanks to God for that. So I'm grateful for everything, man.
Absolutely. Got Shaheem Carter here on the show, former Alabama defensive back, and was a graduate assistant on the staff under Coach Saban until getting that tryout for the Houston Texans over the weekend, signed by the Texans. So we're going to start right there, Shaheem. How special is this for you? Because we know the NFL, it's a different grind, it's a different monster. In college football, you're there with your guys, your boys, and you build those relationships for 3+ years on campus. In the NFL, you're dealing with older guys. They're married. They have families. You may not get that bonding time that you would like to have, but you got the tryout for the Houston Texans. You got signed by the franchise. How special is this for you to have a chance again to pursue that dream of playing pro football?
And it's just a blessing, from God, man. Just having me in this situation once again, to be able to live out my dream. And make my dream come true, and to be able to play, professional football. And going off what you asked, like having a relationship with the guys that have like families and stuff like that. Like younger guys like as myself, who is not married yet. It's typically we don't, want to bother like the vets or the old heads, when they're with their families and stuff. So we make the most of our time, at the facilities and things like that. Getting to know each other real well, asking questions and like just learning from each other. You learn something new every day. So that's, that's just a big thing that, I saw here these past couple of days.
How comfortable did you feel, Shaheem, throughout the training camp, throughout the mini camp there with the Texans? How comfortable did you feel taking the field, going through the drills, executing at the different stations? How comfortable were you during the tryout?
No, I was very comfortable. It was nothing new to me. I was just, like continue to work out just in case, something along those lines happened. But while I was, being a GA at Bama, I was being where my feet were, as Coach Saban say, I was all in there, and I just got the call. So, I continue to stay ready. Waiting on that call. And like I said, it's always been a dream of mine, playing in the NFL. So, I just continue to stay ready, and it wasn't really a difficult task for me. Once I got the call.
We're joined here by Shaheem Carter. If you're just tuning into the show on a Monday, Carter, former Alabama defensive back from 2016 to 2019, was a graduate assistant on Coach Saban's staff prior to getting the call from the Houston Texans to do a minicamp tryout over the weekend and is now signed by that franchise. So, Shaheem, just looking at Nick Saban, how does he continue? You've played for him. You got a chance to work with him or work under him as a graduate assistant. How does he continue to keep the foot on the gas and not just give you all of him as a coach in terms of coach-player, but even as a graduate assistant, what type of gems, nuggets, words of wisdom, messages do you continue to take from a man that continues to show why he's the best in the game?
Man, it's a lot of things, that's different with Coach Saban, man. You never know what you're going to get out of him that day. As speaking from a coach's perspective, as a player, you never know, what you're going to get from him. You never know. He always come to work ready to work, no matter what it is. He always going to coach you hard. He always, dropping gems on us. He always, on the coaches about, just the little things and things like that. So, for me to being able to play under him and, see the coaching side of it, it was definitely a blessing, man. It was different from, from that aspect. Guys that I played with, and Terrell Lewis, Anthony Jennings, all those guys, they asked me, how it is, working up under him rather than playing up under him. I sit in meetings and stuff and things like that, and just hear what he has to say and soaking it all in. And it was different from as playing, because when you playing, then Coach Saban getting onto you about messing up on the play. It's all right, I understand, what I'm saying, but it's not so much so it's you're a coach and you we need to get this guy right, what I'm saying. So it was a little different, very different.
Are there any guys, Shaheem, that are kind of under the radar that we should be on the lookout for in the upcoming season for Alabama? Any under the radar names that we should have our eyes on?
At Bama, there's really no under the radar guys. Everybody has a name, and they just try to live up to that name for themselves and for their family. If you go to Bama, you get your name on the back of your jersey. So you just try to represent the Alabama A really well and represent your last name. So there's really no under the radar guys that that just under the radar. Everybody stands out. Everybody is unique in their own way.
He's Shaheem Carter, ladies and gentlemen, former Alabama defensive back, played from 2016 to 2019, 2017 college football playoff national champion, back in the NFL with the Houston Texans. Shaheem, appreciate you coming on for spending a little bit of time with us. Best of luck to you, man. Best wishes to you. Congratulations. Take care, my man. See you soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Shaheem Carter joining us right there on the phone lines, talking some Crimson Tide football. Really want him to have big time success there in the NFL as he's back now with the Houston Texans. But we have another call. We have another guest coming on here, and that is none other than Mr. Brad Lester joining us right now. Brad Lester, an athletic trainer out of Atlanta, the Big A time. My man Brad Lester, it's happy to have you back in here, brother. How you feeling?
So what?
I was just happy to have you back in here, Brad. How you feeling?
Doing good. We're actually sitting there training now.
Man is always on the ground. We got Brad Lester in here right now, joining the Inbound Awards hotline. So, Brad, you had Najee Harris last spring and last summer. You had him. You were working with him, getting his explosiveness down and things of that nature. And we saw the finished product of that as he, first round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now you've got your hand on another Bama running back, Jace McClellan, the sophomore from Texas. Upon seeing him, what stands out to you the most about his athleticism just looking at him for the first time?
First thing I seen was his explosiveness, his first step, how he takes off when he first gets to running, and then also too his size too. I mean, he's about 210, 215 pounds, which is a lot bigger than what I thought he was. So I mean, I see him having a great year just like Najee did. He's here putting in the work. We're actually here he's on a 5-minute break now. We're here at the gym training now. So he's putting in the work. I mean, sky's the limit for him this next year. And I told him he has big shoes to fill, but I told him I think he can do it.
Now, do you see him potentially, because when he came out of high school in Texas, McClellan, huge speed guy, huge burst, huge acceleration, just highly explosive player. And I know he's got other backs on the roster that he's trying to compete against to get this playing time on the field. But from what you were able to do with Najee, do you see kind of the same explosive playmaking ability you can pull out or you can help work out of McClellan? Or can he maybe be a bit more explosive than what Harris was?
I think, in my opinion, I think he's actually way more explosive. And I know that says a lot because Najee was an explosive player, but I see him being way, way more explosive. He's very powerful. Even in the weight room, he looks pretty well. See him making a huge impact for Alabama's running backfield next year.
If I get one more in here to you, Brad, we're talking to Brad Lester here on the phone lines. So what specific things, as you're training right now, what specific things are you working with McClellan on?
The biggest thing we've been working on is, again, just improving his first step, which is already great. I think that's one of the biggest things to work on as a running back is the first explosive step. And then, one of the biggest things we've been working on as well is, pass protection. I just wanted to make sure that's something that he's used to doing. With being a freshman last year, you don't really get a lot of reps before you come into college with pass pro. So that was one of the biggest things that we've really been trying to address and different drills we've been doing here at the facility to help work on that.
He's Brad Lester, people. Brad Lester, ladies and gentlemen, join us right here, athletic trainer out of Atlanta. My man, take care of yourself. Be good. Appreciate you coming on, sharing some little nuggets here about the training that you're doing with Jace McClellan. You take care of yourself, man. Be good.
Yes, sir. You too.
Absolutely. Happy to have Brad Lester here on the show, him and Shaheem Carter. We're going to go to a quick break. We're going to take a break here, folks, on the show. But upon our return, we dive back into the phone lines to take your calls, your calls, your thoughts, your thoughts, your conversations, getting back to a dialogue with you, the Tide fans, after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
And we are back in, folks, back in from the break of the number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We jump back into the phone lines here to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. That is the number right there to let your voice be heard. We go and get my man, Senator the Pimp Man Hines. Senator Hines, what's going on with you, my man?
What's going on, Stephen? How is everything going this week, man?
Going good, man. Going good. I mean, Bama got a punter out of a transfer portal, so Coach Saban still pulling folks out of that portal. And, Brandon Turnage chose to go to Georgia, but for the most part, we as people look at it and say, best of luck to you, best wishes to you. Hopefully you have some success over there.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you saw my comment on the Facebook page. But I was like, well, at least he got his natty before he left because he sure ain't get one over at UGA. We know how they like to choke it up. But, but man, I'm just excited, man. First of all, I want to give a shout-out to myself. My birthday's on Wednesday, so I'm down here. I'm calling from Destin, Florida this week. Down here, me and my wife, you know, and we rolled up in Florida with our Bama gear on, ready to talk smack to anybody. So, but yeah, man, Shaheem Carter, congrats to Shaheem. I was so happy. That's a hard-working guy, man. He actually took time out of A-Day 2019 and sat there and talked to my son. So, Shaheem, I know you probably don't remember me, man, but shout out to you, man. Congrats. And Steven, man, I'm just happy for how the show is growing, man. I got people in North Carolina talking about how they call in and listening to the show, man. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. I don't really got much to say. I just miss you guys. I've been having to catch the show late, a lot of different business ventures, but I miss you guys, man. Shout out to the chat. I'm not in there right now, but shout out to the Blue Rinse gang and to all my TDA fam, man. I love y'all. I'm going to celebrate this 31st birthday like a real Bama fan should, and I'm going to act up. So y'all take care, man. Roll Tide and be out, man.
Appreciate that call there coming from our own Senator Hines, celebrating his birthday this week. Happy for that guy right there. Appreciate Senator calling in. As you guys continue to get your thoughts in here, 205-448-1358. That is the number to call, 205-448-1358. We're gonna transition to this right here. Bama softball. Patrick Murphy, Montana Fouts, Bailey Hemphill, Alabama softball continuing the drumbeat that is championship school. Bama softball joined the football program, the men's basketball program, and the gymnastics program in winning an SEC championship over the weekend. Crimson Tide dominated the tournament, taking care of Kentucky, Tennessee, and of course Florida to get that title. And Montana Fouts, you talk about a poker face like none other. This young woman wheeling and dealing. I mean, Bama's had some great pitchers over the years. They've had some great pitchers, some great ones. But Fouts, this girl right here, she different. She's different. We're looking at 15 strikeouts against Kentucky, 13 strikeouts against Tennessee, 11 against Florida. Set the strikeout record for the SEC tournament with 38, taking it from a former LSU pitcher. It was just outstanding, the tournament over the weekend. You know, Bailey Hemphill knocking out home runs left and right, as she's right now the all-time leader in school history for the Crimson Tide in home runs, surpassing one Kelly Crutchman right there, banging with 61 dingers in her career. Patrick Murphy just excited coach, excited program, and I look at this team as it's right now setting up for the regionals coming up this week, the super regionals, and the goal being to get back to Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series to win that second national championship in program history, to put that beside the 2012 one that it got with Jackie Traynor leading the way for that respective group. But over the weekend, Bama softball getting it done. Montana Fouts, this young woman ain't playing. Really excited here about this softball program. We take another break here on the show, but upon our return, we'll get into a conversation on one Jalyn Armour-Davis. He has set himself up to be the starting corner opposite Josh Jobe, but he's got to fend off two people in order to keep himself in that starting spot. We'll talk about J.A.D., Kick Slide King, after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, how we feeling out there, people? How are we feeling this evening as we're back in from the break of a number one ticket for Crimson Tide football news? In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And before we get into talking about one Jalyn Armour-Davis, the kick slide king himself, we got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. So for all of you fans still overjoyed with the Crimson Tide's national championship, we want you to check out our championship collection merch. Now this means you grab you an 18 of them things, folk, t-shirt, hoodie, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 We Do shirts. Designs that feature all 18 championship years on the back. You head on over to TDAwear.com, do it right now, TDAwear.com, and you click on the championship collections merch tab, and you get you that gear today, showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at TDA. But we now get into one. Jalyn Armour-Davis getting into his red shirt junior year out of Mobile, 6'1", 192 pounds. This young man has officially put himself in an opportunity to be a starting corner opposite Josh Jobe on the first team defense. And you got to be very proud of this individual because of how he did not panic, he did not give up, he did not sulk, he did not throw in the towel because, and I've mentioned this a lot of times, Nick Saban has recruited so many defensive backs since the 2017 recruiting cycle that if you do not pop immediately, you find yourself getting buried on the depth chart. You get recruited over 2 and 3 and 4 times to where people sort of forget who you are and what you are, and then you have to go elsewhere to find an opportunity to play. And I remember when Armour-Davis came in 2018, Nick Saban fell head over heels for this dude, was in love with his size, his length, his athleticism, his intelligence, his ball skills, ball judgment, just really liked what JAD brought to the table. Unfortunately, he sustained a serious knee injury prior to his freshman year in summer workouts, and he would get recruited over by the 2019 class, 2020 class, and this past class. And he could very easily said, screw it. He could have easily said, forget this mess, man. He could have easily said, I'm hitting the transfer portal. But something in Armour-Davis would not allow him to do it. He kept pushing. He kept fighting. He kept battling. He has earned the trust of not only his teammates, but Coach Saban and the entire staff. And we saw in the spring game, he had sort of a breakout performance, if you will. Had 3 pass breakups, which led the first team defense. He was handling Javon Baker. He was handling Trayshawn Holden a little bit, breaking up passes from both of those guys. He stuck his nose in run support and was tackling these backs. Like, Jalyn Armour-Davis did some big things out there. He excelled out there, earned a nickname from his teammates. He has put himself squarely in a spot where he's got a shot to be the starter opposite Josh Jobe. And one of the reasons why he is pushing so hard for this, as we're playing the clip here of Jalyn Armour-Davis from the spring game, Armour-Davis knows this upcoming season, the NFL scouts are watching him. The NFL draft pundits are watching him. These personnel directors they're watching him. And I know Jim Nagy, the executive director for the Reese's Senior Bowl, he was an NFL scout for 18 years. He served on 6 Super Bowl teams. He helped to get 4 Vince Lombardi trophies. When you discuss the Green Bay Packers in 1996, the New England Patriots, and the Seattle Seahawks. So Jim Nagy, he's a big deal. And Nagy, he mentioned that Josh Jobe is going to be the next early round defensive back for the Crimson Tide in the 2022 venue. So he has a lot of respect for Jobe. But despite this, Armour-Davis is somebody to keep your eyes on because he has a big year. He can position himself to be a pretty high-value draft pick in next year's venue. So keep your eyes there on Jalyn Armour-Davis. He has pushed. He has worked himself. He has positioned himself for this opportunity to be a starter here in the secondary. But the big thing he's got to do, he's got to fend off 2 highly talented young men. Number one, he's got to fend off JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry. You always have to have somebody that's got that cockiness, but that confidence, that know who they are playing on an island, that know who they are playing defensive back, that know who they are at that position. I mean, Dre Kirkpatrick was a little bit cocky, but he knew how good he was. D. Milner, minus the injuries, was a little bit cocky, but Milner knew how good he was. Marlon Humphrey, he was a little cocky, but when he locked in, he knew how good he was. Alabama didn't have really that humble defensive back aside from maybe one Levi Wallace. Now, Levi may have been a little bit cocky, who knows, but from what he presented to us out there on the field, kind of more of a humble guy. But more times than not, you want to have that cocky, confident DB on that field, and that's Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid knows exactly who he is, and we saw it all throughout his high school career, and we saw it in the spring game, him battling with Aja Hall, him battling with Xavier Williams, him battling with these receivers. And not only just that, he's been putting in some work in the offseason. Kool-Aid working with my man Minard Stevens, step-by-step performance training out of Birmingham. He's got Kool-Aid hitting tires with sledgehammers and getting that upper body and them arms strong to where he can really frustrate and reroute these wide receivers and be physical with them. Kool-Aid also working this offseason on just getting, the hands, the footwork, everything clean, everything timing-wise, so that the moment he sets back on campus for fall camp, summer workout 7-on-7 and fall camp, he's looking to be the real deal. And he highly talented. And once again, Nick Saban has never been afraid. He has never shied away from sticking a freshman in front of upperclassmen. We have seen this multiple times. So for Jalyn Armour-Davis, you got to fend off Kool-Aid because he is that proverbial itch down your spine that you can't get to, that you can't scratch. Kool-Aid, really, really good and really looking to get on that field. And behind him, you've got Kyrie Jackson. Here's a young man from JUCO, played his junior college ball at East Mississippi Community College. This dude at 6'4", people want to see this guy on the field. I want to see this type of size, 6'4". I want to see that size, that length, that ranginess, that type of athleticism on the field. What can it do for Alabama on the playing field? And watching his tape, big hitter, big cover guy, a guy that can frustrate, reroute wide receivers, make plays there on the football. Upon him coming in here in the summer, how quickly can he grow? How quickly can he adjust and adapt and make plays? So both of these two guys are looking to take that corner spot away from Armour-Davis. So he's got to be on his P's and Q's throughout the summer, throughout 7-on-7, throughout 11-on-11, and most importantly, throughout fall camp. But right now, just as it stands, Armour-Davis has positioned himself to be a starting corner. And for me, I feel like he's a lot better than what some people give him credit for. He came in very highly touted, very highly regarded. He came in with Patrick Surtain II. He came in with Josh Jobe. And Saban looked at Armour-Davis more so than when he looked at the other two. When you're injured, when you sustain serious medical mishaps, it takes you a while to get back. It takes you a while to recuperate. It takes you a while to build that confidence back to where it was prior to you sustaining this serious injury that you had. So Armour-Davis back at full go, back at full strength, back at full throttle. Going to be very intriguing and entertaining and interesting to see what he does here in the upcoming season, but starting off in summer workouts here. But folks, as always, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. Very simple, very easy to get this. You can get this by downloading it from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you've got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you covered. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, Overcast.fm, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Wednesday continuing the conversation that is Tide football. As always, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. Also, if you're trying to be one of the first to get that copy or that print edition of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, new copy right here, this is what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member, a subscriber today. Also, if you're trying to get your hands on that 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com, that link in the description as well. But until next time, folks, husbands love you, wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing the right thing, smart thing, fun thing, good thing, legitimate thing, to not be bored. As always, you get those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. And until next time, folks, it's been in my own words.